Hello, I'm Philip Stoten. I'm at Apex 2018. I'm joined by Gary from ViTrox and Bjorn from KIC. Guys, collaboration has been a big element of what we've been talking about this week, and there's been some really interesting industry examples, but company-to-company examples. You guys have been working together on a project. Bjorn, can you start by outlining that project and how it came about? What was the demand for it?
Right. So in the last many years, we've been optimizing the oven setup and focusing on the thermal process wave solder. But with ViTrox, which is an AOI and SPI company, instead of sub-optimizing on one part of the line, by having that communication, there's all kinds of value we can drive for the customers in terms of running their factory more effectively. And ViTrox is perhaps one of the leading companies on the AOI side in using data to create value.
Yeah, and Gary, when you're working on a collaboration like this, I guess the first thing is to define some objectives, something that the customer's going to benefit from.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, one of the main objectives is that because from inspection point of view, we see the defects, we see what are the defects that happens after the AOI, or even after the X-ray. But then it's like many of times you see that how can we improve that process from the defects, not only detecting it, but how can we improve it? So that's why the working relationship with KIC, one of the leading making oven smarter, right? And this way, with the information from the inspection, you really can make the oven smarter, and as well as making the process even better. So that's why our objective is that to look into we see that the defects from that, and making that the defects don't happen anymore. So the areas of preventing the defects from happening. Yeah.
And when you're looking at defects that you've identified on the AOI system, are you then using that to make adjustments in the recipe parameters that then make that improvement?
So these are early days, and so one obvious use is that if there is a defect, they can then look at where the defect is, and if it's in the reflow oven, they can click on the KIC screen, and they can see data if there is an issue, and if where that issue is, so that can be sent to the maintenance people that can adjust the oven. So every second you can shave off a downtime, very, very important. And what Gary is indicating is longer term is don't wait until the defect happens. Look at the trend lines, and our engagement is only on the thermal side. They are looking across the line, but the ultimate goal is to avoid that line to go down in the first place.
Yeah, so Gary, from your point of view, you're able to look at an issue on a component. You're able to see a trend where there's a decay there and identify that before it does fail.
Correct. Yes, because a lot of process issues. From there on, from the inspection we add on the process knowledge from thermal. Then add it on to understand what are the areas, the root cause of these issues that happen, and so that in the event that we can eliminate those processes by changing. Because the most important thing is that in the future that we're looking into it with deep learning and also big data analytics, we can come up with suggestions so that process engineers knows what are the 3 steps they can do to eliminate these problems, in the next boards or in the next line. So that, for example, like tombstoning or even non-wetting, some of the areas that we see, and even HIP as well, right? So these are the things that with collaboration with KIC and also thermal. So this is where we want to focus, for example, this year.
Yeah, and I think what's really exciting to me is it really does leverage that ability to connect and communicate, but your individual deep domain knowledge. So thermal process knowledge, AOI knowledge, all that kind of thing. What's the likely output from this process? Will you produce a white paper? Will there be modules within your both of your systems that come out? What's your long-term objective, Bjorn?
So we already have it up and running at the ViTrox booth. We are starting some case studies where real manufacturers are using the system and try to assess the value they have. I think that there's so much we can do with the technology. The question is, where do we start, and where is the biggest value for the customer? I think that equipment utilization is big, consistent quality is big, People talk about predictive maintenance and condition-based maintenance. It's all about basically helping the customer be more successful by running a consistent product at a lower cost.
Yeah, and that's all going to filter down to their bottom line. It's a really interesting project and a great example of how collaboration, communication between teams, but more importantly, between machines, but more importantly between companies is really adding value for customers. Guys, thanks for stopping by to chat. Not much left of Apex. We're pretty close to closing down now. I hope you both had a good show, and we'll talk to you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.